Hi there! In this video, we'll review the main features of VAT accounting in the FirstBIT accounting system. To learn more about the full functionality of the system and get answers to your questions, please request a personal demonstration on our site, accounting-software.ae, or contact us by phone or email. Let's start with our entity and companies. In the information about the entity, you can specify that it is the VAT taxpayer, as well as the date when the entity became a VAT taxpayer. Depending on this option, the VAT applied or not VAT taxable checkbox is automatically set in sales transactions. Here you should also specify the tax registration number, as well as the default VAT rates for sales and purchase transactions entering. In company's description, we can also set the VAT taxpayer checkbox and specify the tax registration number. Depending on the supplier's data, the VAT applied or not VAT taxable checkbox is automatically set in purchase transactions. The default VAT rate is also specified in inventory items and services description. This rate will be automatically filled in the sales and purchase transactions entering. If the VAT rate for the inventory is not filled in, the entity's rate will be used. Let's consider the sales transactions. If the VAT taxpayer checkbox is enabled for our entity, then firstly, we should specify the taxation format of this transaction in the sales transactions entering. Here are the taxation formats. VAT applied, if the VAT is fully or partly applied to the transaction. Not VAT taxable, if the VAT is not applied to the transaction. Export, rate 0% for export transactions. Then, when specifying the list of inventory and services for sale, we check the VAT rate for each item. You can manually change it if necessary. The VAT amount is calculated automatically. We will see the created transaction in the Output VAT report. VAT accrual will also be reflected in accounting. We can also see the information about VAT rates and amounts in the invoice printed from the system. In the customer order, the VAT data is entered in the same way. Now let's consider the purchase transactions. First of all, we have to specify the taxation format of this transaction in the purchase transactions entering. Here are the taxation formats. VAT applied, if the VAT is fully or partly applied to the transaction. Not VAT taxable, if the VAT is not applied to the transaction. Even if our entity is not a VAT taxpayer, we can register the VAT amounts paid for purchasing inventory and services. In the future, we can use this information for analysis. If the VAT taxpayer checkbox is enabled, the VAT applied checkbox is set by default. Then, when specifying the list of inventory and services for purchase, we check the VAT rate for each item. You can manually change it if necessary. We will see the created transaction in the Input VAT report. VAT deduction will also be reflected in the accounting. In the purchase order, the VAT data is entered in the same way. In addition to sales and purchase transactions, Federal Law Number 8 provides other grounds for VAT accrual obligation and deduction entitlement. For example, the deemed supplies described in the Article 11 or adjustment for bad debts in the Article 64. The most common ones will be automated in our system as soon as the relevant executive regulations explaining the order of their registration will be published. For rare occasions, it is possible to accrual or deduct VAT in free format without linking it to a particular operation. For this purpose, the documents Output VAT Transaction and Input VAT Transaction have been created. The Output VAT report is used for accrued VAT analysis. The Input VAT report is used for deducted VAT analysis. So, today we've reviewed the basic functionality of the FirstBIT accounting system related to the VAT accounting. Thank you for your attention. Let me remind you that to learn more about the full functionality of the system and get answers to your questions, please request a personal demonstration on our site, accounting-software.ae, or contact us by phone or email